A lovely Thursday morning here at Osbc TV. Good morning out there. Yes, it's another opportunity to come your way on AM Cafe, the weekly breakfast show on Osbc TV. We're live on 502 on Free TV and 113 on Star Times, and definitely live on YouTube and our website www.osbcng.org. My name is Benga Famino. Welcoming everyone on board another interesting conversation as we always reflect on current matters affecting us as a people in Nigeria, in our state, and everywhere. Yes, very important conversations bordering on our survival. Recently, it was in the news that the federal government made a refund of borrowed money to some international institutions. How much was the money? What was this money? What was the loan meant for in the first instance when the money was borrowed? Was the credit facility utilized judiciously? Was it used for the purpose it was meant for? And now it was refunded. What does that mean for us? Was it totally refunded? With me in the house is an analyst and a public commentator to do justice to the conversation. Please welcome with me our guest, Tiamiyu.
Good morning.
Good
morning, Nigerians.
For joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you so much.
Yes. To start with, when you heard about the news, as a Nigerian, how did you feel?
Yes, when we heard about the news, I felt a little bit relieved, at least. We're looking at the burden that this death has actually caused or put on all Nigerians. There was a time last year that they said that an average Nigerian on the street owing foreign creditors 85,645 naira, 644 naira or so. Which an average Nigerian, even a newborn child, was among those people that were owning.
So you owe a debt you were never aware.
Yes.
Somebody took on your behalf.
Yes, so the federal government took the loan on our behalf, and then when the judge divided the total sum that we are owing as a country on all Nigerians, it amounted to 84,640 something naira. And then you ask yourself, if with the population of over 200 million people, if every single things are going wrong, and then we must not just, as a matter of that, because of that, just say that when you hear something of that nature, you feel elated that at least we feel relieved that a substantial part of the money has been paid.
We are off, eh?
Okay, we are off.
We are off. Okay. Yes.
Yes, as I was saying, what I was saying is, if an average Nigerian owns foreign creditor 84,640 something naira, it means you just sit down and imagine how huge the debts are. If a newly born child today is actually in the circle of those people that were calculated, it means we have huge amount of money. And then we're looking at the Buhari administration when it came on board. How much was the debt the debt
Debt
stock
profile.
debt profile before 2015, and how much was it as at 2023 January. You realize that it has doubled, and even more than that. And you now sit down and you're asking yourself that what exactly is really going on. So when you hear something like a substantial part of the money has been paid, you just feel like relief that okay, maybe that they are trying, if they can just stop
6.3 trillion now.
6.3 trillion has been paid, but we are talking about over 60 trillion here. Even from we see at least the Buhari administration incurred close to another 30 trillion. So if 6.3 trillion has been paid, it means we still have a lot of money
to be refunded.
Yeah, to be refunded to these foreign creditors. And as an average Nigerian, you sit down and be asking yourself, where is this loan going to? Yes, some were actually tied to some specific projects.
I think we should make a mention of one or two.
Yes, one of them is the one that was gotten from China in 2016, less than a year after Buhari's administration came on board. Buhari himself traveled to China, where after that meeting, he announced to Nigeria that China has agreed to give Nigeria a loan of about some billions of dollars to fix the train. The
railway system in Nigeria.
Then you ask yourself that if this money was to fix the railway system in Nigeria, then is it really working up to the optimum? What about other issues that are affecting the optimum utilization of that rail system? You look at it. Substantial part of this money was used to fix that very light train from Abuja to Kaduna. How many people are using that train today? Why are they not using it? Is it not, we all know it's security. I can still tell you that over the larger percentage of people that were kidnapped on March 28 last year are still in captivity. Most of them were just released, maybe batches by batches, but you know how much each of them paid before they could be released.
But federal government may argue that those were instances of deliberately sabotage.
Okay, what about the Lagos Ibadan to Itakpe, Lagos Ibadan to Ogun? What about that
the rail line there?
Is it really working up to optimum? Let's just be isolated from what is happening across the globe. I was telling somebody that I'm a football fan. I watch football very well. When you see the number of people that go to some stadia in the globe, like Manchester United Stadium, Old Trafford, or even that of Real Madrid, that of Barcelona, you realize that we have every week over 90,000 people, 80,000, 70,000. There's no week that we don't have 73 to 78,000 people watching football at Old Trafford. The same thing at Bernabeu in Spain. Same thing at Nou Camp and some other big stadia across the globe. What do they use? Do you think it is going to be easy for all of us to just go there with our vehicle? Most of these people, they use train. And it is very fast. So that is kind of system with that huge amount of money. That's what you expect. That at least from Abuja, they told us that from Lagos to Ibadan, you should be able to get there within 30 minutes or 45 minutes. Is it really happening today? These are the questions we ask ourselves. If from Abuja to Kaduna, that one that is working, it was closed for more than a year. It was just really opened sometimes like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was closed since that time when the incident happened March 28th. It was closed till maybe sometimes last year. It's almost a year. So we ask ourselves, these are the projects that we used.
But we're just talking about the rail system.
Let's go back to other projects. The money got from International Development Bank was part of the money that they said they were going to use for second Niger bridge. That bridge was commissioned. But the question is this: is it 100% completed? The answer is no. What is really happening? Even when it was commissioned, when it was open to traffic, the Minister of Works said that there are some areas that they will fix, and then they gave a time frame of 6 weeks. We are talking about close. This thing happened last year. We are in April. Those places have they been completely fixed? The answer is no. So we ask ourselves that this project, yes, we can give kudos to Muhammadu Buhari's administration. He was able to develop infrastructure in some part of the world.
Of the country.
Of the country, rather. In some part of the country, you realize that at least we have road system fixed. We have a lot of things. But you know, apart from the fact that these infrastructures are not equitably distributed, as I can tell you, in the whole of Southwest, look at the major roads in Southwest. We are talking about this huge amount of money that we are repaying. I'm going back to the issue of servicing. How much are we using to service? But let's look at the project. In the whole of Southwest, one of the major roads that we have, let me say the most important road in Southwest, Lagos-Ibadan Road, it has not been completely fixed. The other one is Ibadan-Ife, Akure Expressway. You realize that from Ilesha down to Ibadan is in the state of disrepute. Let's go back to another one, Akure to Ado-Ekiti. Those are the roads connecting state capitals. What kind of, how is it? Is it actually okay? What about from Osogbo to passing Ife to Ondo? Even the motorists are not passing there again. They prefer passing through Ilesha, you know, getting to Ileluji, and then from there entering Ondo town. Is that road good? The answer is no. So these are the issues. But fine, he has done it well in some part, and we have to give him kudos. The government cannot do everything. But this huge amount of money is too much that we can now say, okay, imagine we fixed the train for over $17 billion, and then we were unable to get security along that train, along that track. And then the bandit will just wake up today and just bomb it. So I want to say that we try to firstly build a house. We now let it for the rainfall, if everyone, before we now look at, okay, do we need drainage? When we're supposed to have actually constructed the drainage so that when the rainfall comes.
You wanted to say building a mansion, and maybe after completing the mansion, you're now wondering, how do we include a toilet or something?
Yes, something like that. So, some important, and let me just say, very simple and important ingredients. Like this security that we are talking about
should have been integrated
from the beginning.
Should have been part of the.
Yes, you cannot just wake up and say that we have constructed the train and then people should be moving when we know the state of security. You and I believe that you and I will not want to travel to Kano today and we'll go to Osogbo and say we want to take train because we don't know what will happen.
That's it.
And I have a friend who did try, not a friend, I have some younger ones who from my area who actually took train from Osogbo to Kano. They are students. They spent over 7 days on the road. As in inside the bush. In fact, she told me that there was a time they needed to bring another train from Lagos to meet them somewhere between before they get to Abuja, or no, before they get to Kaduna, because that train broke down like 5 times.
Are we saying this, if care is not taken, this might be another white elephant project? And then this thing may actually go with Buhari administration if care is not taken. Another white elephant project. That will sit down and say, wait, we have to revitalize this. A new government coming on board will say, how much am I going to spend on all this to revitalize it? That is the first consideration. Talking about terms and conditions attached to these credit facilities from the international institutions. Let's talk a little about the terms. Yes. How beneficial or how safe is it in the first instance to secure these loans? Yes. Let's say that in between year 2015 and 2018, China was aggressively penetrating Africa. Aggressively. That was when we had African-China Summit, the first of its kind.
where they talk about investment. It brought all African leaders together to come and start talking about how they can. And if you look at it, how many countries in Africa got loans from China? There are many. And then what are the issues? I want to say that maybe there are some things that the Buhari administration is not telling us. Because something happened in Zambia, I think it's Zambia, that the China took over the major international airports and seaports of that country because of the fact that the country
to refund
the loan.
They couldn't refund the loan.
It. So maybe that has actually happened, and that is what made Buhari's government to start saying we want. I'm not saying that happened, but China. Okay. That is exactly what China. That was exactly how China approached Africa at that time. They realized that there are some things in Africa, and they want to grab all those things against the European part, the other counterparts, where they are fighting for the riches in Africa. So you never ask ourselves that, what is the time frame? We got billions of dollars in 2015, and before 8 years, we were asked to refund the whole money. And after that, you look at it. Look at the budget from that period, 2015 to this time. Check how much we used to service loan, not repayment now. Service. They write it, debt servicing in the budget. It's a very big item on all the budgets every year. You realize that it runs into trillions of naira. Now we used to service this budget, these loans, apart from the repayments. So these are the conditions that you ask, that are we actually benefiting from this? What is the interest of the people that are giving us money? We are not talking of the money from IMF. We also have loans that we have been repaid, that has been repaid from IMF. We still have a substantial part of it that the new administration will inherit. But you ask yourself that the interest of the China and some other, foreign lenders, what is their interest? Is it that they want Africa to develop? African leaders must sit down and ask ourselves, is it that these people, they are actually after development of Africa? If they are after development of Africa, China will give us loan, and then you still give the contract to a Chinese company.
So much.
So you ask, when you say a Chinese company constructed the rail line, right? But we got the loan from China, and we also gave the contract to China. In Yoruba, they will say, this is exactly what we are having there. So, but I think the is very good.
So much to be considered, and questions begging for answers. But fundamentally, the question and the concern is, are we really benefiting from all these loans? And maybe it is also the hope that Nigerians will become empowered enough one day to be holding our leaders and governments responsible and accountable for their actions. Maybe Nigeria will mature to that stage one day very soon. It is our hope. It is our prayer. But from this conversation this morning, it has been made clear that there are still questions begging for answers. Yes, 6.3 trillion naira refund to international creditors, but what percentage of the entire loan is 6.3 trillion naira? Very small percentage of the entire loan. Still a big debt burden on Nigeria and Nigerians. Thank you for joining us on this conversation this morning. Food for thought for everyone. But we believe that there will be tomorrow that will be better. Special thanks to all contributors at MCR, BTR, and the producer, Olushola Gule. Will also appreciate the efforts. Likewise, the executive producer, Loaskomi Oyebayo. Not forgetting to appreciate our guest. Thank you for joining us again this morning.
Thank you for having me, and I want to believe that one time we will still have time to talk about the subnational loans, or what the states owing international creditors, including our state here.
That's a serious one.
That time will come when we will discuss.
That's a serious one.
And we'll question
yes.
what has happened between those periods when all those loans were gotten.
Loans by the federal government is one thing.
It's what we are talking about.
And loans by the
subnational
states
government, the states,
is another thing.
It's another thing. Billions of dollars.
Okay, my name is Benga Famino. Appreciating you all again for being a part of this conversation. So come your way same time tomorrow on another edition of AM Cafe. This is wishing everyone a lovely day. Goodbye and God bless.